Corruption is the enemy of development and good governance. It must be got rid of. Both the government and the people at large must come together to achieve this national objective. So says Pratibha Patil, the 12th President of India and the first and only woman to have held that position in India. Thank you for joining us on this edition of your anti-corruption program that highlights the dangers associated with economic and financial crimes and how to fight them. This is The Eagle, coming to you from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Now, today our searchlight is on corruption, a national enemy. My name is Martha Eche. Stay with me and let's discuss this matter together.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Eagle, your anti-corruption program on TV, and today our focus is on corruption, a national enemy. Now, according to an online dictionary, dictionary.com, an enemy is a person who feels hatred for, fosters harmful designs against, or engages in antagonistic activities against another. Now, simply put, an enemy is someone or something, maybe a force, that stands in your path to success. Ask anyone around today and they will tell you that the greatest enemy of many nations, Nigeria inclusive, if not all, is corruption. Corruption has maimed and even killed people. No wonder Nigeria is bent on fighting it with standstill. Now, while many people already have a good understanding of what corruption is and how devastating it can be, some are yet to get its full meaning. For a clearer view on what corruption is and its many branches, let's see what the Executive Secretary, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, Sadiq Isarada, has to say.
The definition of corruption has been given severally. There are some people who believe you cannot define corruption. You can only describe it. But there are people who feel what you need is a concise definition. Therefore, you can hardly have a very fixed definition of corruption. What you have is a description. And in this regard, you can say corruption is a situation where a government official, a public servant, uses his or her office to his or her advantage and to the detriment of the larger population. So it can be considered as misapplication of resources, embezzlement, mismanagement, waste, graft, bribery, gift that is not within the law, anything that is wrong, so long as you have done it through the use of office for your personal gain, can be classified as corruption. So where things go wrong in the process of conducting your official duties, and you did it simply because you want to drive and do benefit, don't mind the magnitude, don't mind the quantum, don't mind the volume. Corruption is not only when 1 billion naira or 10 billion is stolen. Even where 20 naira is stolen, so long as it is done with the intent of using that office for benefit, is part of corruption. And that is why corruption includes many, many things. Immorality, sexual abuse, sexual violence, rape, many things. In Rwanda, they have expanded the definition of corruption to include anything you do which is wrong, so long as you are a public official. In other words, definitions are now being expanded to cover anything that a public official does that will affect the lives of other people who are being governed. The essence of expansion in the definition is to make sure that we give the general population a protection, because it has been realized that once you block this aspect of the definition of corruption, people go into that. So whatever you do that is wrong, using your public office for personal gain and is detrimental to other people in the society, is corruption.
Corruption seems to have planted itself in many sectors of man's endeavors. One begins to wonder why this is so. What causes corruption in the first place?
There are many books, reports, technical papers, seminar papers, workshops, gazetted outcomes. There are numerous reasons why we have corruption. In Nigeria specific, you can say the corruption we see today is as a result of many, many reasons. Part of the reasons is our quest for materialism, greediness, materialism. Then secondly, inability of the system to block corruption from happening. Thirdly, you have elite complicity. You can have all the laws, you can have all the regulations, you can have all the rules. So long as the elite connive against the population, the rules will not play, the rules will not help anybody. We have the Public Procurement Act, and the Act is intended to ensure that we have a process for procurement. But the same elite that produced the Act are the ones who connived and sabotaged the Act. So elite complicity has devastated Nigeria and has made corruption worse. Then the people are greedy, materialistic. Judiciary is not helping matters. Lawyers have become more technical than practical. For them, for an average lawyer, the sense of justice for him is a business. Legal profession is just a business first, then search for justice. Judges are as corrupt as, they used to say that courts are temple of justice. That was then. Courts are anything but temples of justice. Then you have a political class that is corrupt, that has corrupted the electoral process so much so that people of value, people of orientation, people of accountability cannot go into the system and contest and win elections. Then you have a situation where you have an international system that allows you to steal your country blind and go abroad and keep the money there safe. And by the time they arrest you, it becomes impossible to bring back the money. We have too many examples. Nigerians who have stolen our country blind, they have moved to UK, Europe, America, Canada, the Middle East. Many of them have turned Dubai into home than Abuja. They are more comfortable in Dubai than Abuja. So by the time you have safe havens all over the world, there will be corruption. So you can say that corruption exists and is worsened by the fact that we have many internal problems. Within the country, people are not serious about pulling the entire population out of poverty. We are selfish, we are greedy, we are unpatriotic, we are not concerned about the condition of other people. We are too trivial in this country. By the time you steal, if you are arrested, you begin to say, well, I'm arrested because I'm PDP or APC. I'm a Christian or a Muslim. I'm from the south or the north. I'm a Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa Fulani or... But when you are stealing, you didn't involve your tribe, you didn't involve... So all these things put together are worsening corruption, and we have not been able to actually get rid of high-profile offenders in this country.
Now, the causes of corruption are inexhaustible, but there is usually this tendency to blame those in power for all that's happening. What about the common man? What's his contribution to the level of corruption in Nigeria today? Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst and development consultant, provides the answer.
Yeah, if you talk about retail corruption, and that's where you are taking us, retail corruption is pervasive. There is practically no sphere of human endeavor where you don't have retail corruption. And that's, you find common men trying to exploit whoever they engage. Let's take issues around artisans. You engage an artisan to do a work for you. The work is supposed to be for 5,000. He insists on taking 8,000. You give him money to buy genuine materials to fix your, maybe it's a plumbing work, come and fix this leaked pipe drain and all of that. The man goes and buy fake. It's going to be a marathon, particularly dealing with retail corruption, because most people are involved and you can't clamp everybody into detention. And many a time, when you go and report, let's assume that you got in a plumber to fix a leakage for you, and now the guy does substandard work. You take him to the police station. You understand? The police will say, this one small matter, make una go settle. That's what they will likely tell you. That, see, we have more serious issues to deal with. Why should I be bothering about transaction of 10,000, 15,000? I mean, sometimes they are lackadaisical about some of these complaints. They feel that it's too paltry for you to bring.
The 11th president of the World Bank, Robert Zoellick, once said, and I quote, "Corruption is a cancer that steals from the poor, eats away at governance and moral fiber, and destroys trust." You know what cancer can do to the body, right? It spreads, destroys, and finally kills its victim. And that's exactly what corruption does. So, just as cancer is an enemy to the cells and well-being of man, so also is corruption an enemy to life. And one of the groups of people that can deal with it squarely is the youth. Samson Itodo, the executive director, Yaga Africa, and convener, Not Too Young to Run, suggests ways that youths can help to fight the menace called corruption.
As an individual, do you consider yourself patriotic? Do you have the values of integrity and not to get involved in financial crimes? So it starts with the individual, upholding those values of integrity. So if you rejig your entire mindset to say, see, I'm not going to do what? I'm not going to use illegal means of acquiring financial resources. I'm not going to cheat, as simple as I'm not going to engage in whether you call it cybercrime or you call it Yahoo or whatever you call it, I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm not going to get in whether you call it criminal conspiracy or criminal defamation, whatever. I'm not going to get involved in that. It begins with the individual, that you're going to work hard for your own success. And God help you, because God always helps people who work hard. So keep working hard. So at the individual level. And second is at the organizational level, and for me that's where the society actually comes in. That as a society we need to rise and condemn, all forms of financial crimes. We need to rise and condemn this and stop celebrating ill-gotten wealth. We need to ask questions. So if you live in a society and someone whom you know yesterday was only feeding from hand to mouth, and somehow the person begins to live in a very, very palatial building, we should be interested in sources of income. I was going to speak to the value system where young people want to get rich quickly. You want to drive the finest of cars. You want to live in palatial buildings. You want to live in opulence, and you're not ready to work hard for it. Or you want to do that by feasting on the innocence of other people. That is not the true spirit of Nigeria. And that is what we must condemn. That the true Nigerian spirit is entrepreneurial. We're celebrated across the world. You think it's joke when people say that when young people or Nigerians go to other parts of the world, they excel. There's something about the Nigerian spirit, and that is not a Nigerian spirit. I don't know where those people actually got it from, but what I know, growing up as a kid, and what my parents taught me at home, is integrity.
It's The Eagle, your anti-corruption program on TV. Today our focus is on corruption, a national enemy. The war against corruption, the enemy of man, rages on. What can we do to fight this monster called corruption? Jide Uju.
You see, when you work, you are supposed to have a profit of a margin of profit. You can give whatever you like from your profit, but do the work. It is wrong for you to be unethical in whatever you do. As a professional, you must do the right thing. Whether you are an artisan, you are a bricklayer, you are a welder, you are a farmer, don't do people. There are people, farmers who wants to sell grains. They will have put sand, stones, to make the size of the grain more. Whereas they will tell you the price of the best grade. These are where everybody, and that's why retail corruption is very difficult to curb. But we all must be part of the fight against corruption by doing the right thing. My own appeal is that, yes, we need to focus on grand corruption. Those big politicians, director generals, people in ministries, department agencies, ministers, and senators, House of Reps members, or the top people in the judiciary. But let's also talk to ourselves as artisans, as consultants. How are we part of the problem, and how can we be part of the solution?
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I say na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, we could fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, we could kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh. Women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call. We know. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
Now, fighting corruption as a national enemy involves all hands. This is one of the foundations of the International Anti-Corruption Day, celebrated on 9th December every year. Just last week, the world commemorated another International Anti-Corruption Day. How did it go, especially for the EFCC? Let's join Ngondun Weta for a special report.
On Wednesday last week, being 9th December, the entire world commemorated the 2020 International Anti-Corruption Day. The theme for this year's celebration was United Against Corruption, Recover with Integrity. As part of the activities to mark the celebration, the Interagency Task Team, IATT, organized a poetry competition for 11 secondary schools in the Federal Capital Territory. The junior category was won by Sani Korede of Battle Axe High School, Lugbe, Abuja, with a poem titled Say No to Corruption, Every No Counts.
Corruption is a war that has no sophisticated weapon, yet it strangles visions and hope. It aborted useful plans and caused them pain. You have carried us on sale to the highest bidder with iron hands. You have torn apart every piece of our lives. It's high time we say no to corruption. Every no counts. Without saying no, will their children have a legacy? Will our smile remain the same? What song do we have left? Perhaps it doesn't matter anymore. My lost love. We need to compromise to say no to corruption. Every no counts. It's like the freedom of a bird, the sting of a scorpion. A snake bite is poisonous. Corruption kills faster than those venom. No wonder it's a deadly element. It's high time we say no to corruption. Every no counts. The last count of my blood smelt has rejected your offer.
Oluwatosin Obasonya of Glisten International Academy, Lugbe, Abuja, won the medal for the senior category. Her poem was titled No Corruption.
Children are famished. Nigeria's name tarnished. The old are crippled. The government's riches tripled. They say education is the key, but even education we cannot see. The people march and ask for their rights. Corruption fights with all its might. And the citizens, with unruly behavior, they seem to think corruption is their savior. To save them from the hardships? Certainly not. Nigeria, the youths are crying. Innocent civilians are dying. Nigeria, oh Nigeria, when will you wake? Can't you hear the alarm quake? The wind whispers, wake Nigeria, wake! Stand up to take the victory that is at stake for the future you can only make when you say, no corruption.
When asked how they felt on the day, the students could not hold back their excitement.
I feel excited and happy that I am here today in this place. I feel honored to be here because today's anti-corruption day, where we fight against corruption, because corruption is really bad and it's more in this country, so we need to fight it, and this day is just representing all of that.
I feel happy because many organizations from different countries in the world have come together to put an end to this corruption. You can organize campaigns against it to give the youths an idea on how to prevent it.
Celebrating the Anti-Corruption Day also reminded Nigerians of what corruption really is and how it has affected citizens. The students did not mince words when they bared their minds on the issue of corruption.
Corruption is a bad menace in the society, so we have to kill it, and so that people will not be tired and try to leave the country because they say it's bad, and it brings shame and bad name to the country. And the country is so beautiful, and it would be a shame if no one will like the country again.
Corruption has affected me in many ways, but I'm going to emphasize on one sector. Educationally, the money given to us to promote our education sector is not being distributed to what they are meant for. Our leaders use it for their own personal gain and to do all sorts of things they want. We know that our future is in our hands, but our leaders are the ones to mold our future for us. So the money being given to us to promote our education sector are not being distributed the way they are supposed to. And in that way, we will not be given adequate education, and many facilities are being missing in other schools. So in this way, corruption has affected me as a child because there is no concentration in our education.
With the effects of corruption so devastating, the need to curb it and fast becomes even more imminent. In a webinar hosted by the Interagency Task Team of anti-corruption agencies in the country to mark this year's International Anti-Corruption Day, the acting chairman of EFCC, Mohammed Umar Abba, in his goodwill message, called on all anti-corruption agencies in the country to deepen cooperation towards improved outcome in the fight against corruption.
We must not relent in our collective resolve to fight corruption in our land, and we must therefore re-strategize to reposition ourselves to respond to emerging issues and challenges caused by the crisis. There is no gainsaying that the situation calls for us to unite with a common purpose, deepen our cooperation, and recommit to implementing the broad goals of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy in our respective agencies. In line with this year's International Anti-Corruption Day theme, United Against Corruption, Recover with Integrity, we wish to lend our voice to the collaborative development of policies, practices, and synergies that will result in further eliminating the incidence of corruption and other related crimes in Nigeria. I encourage us to use this occasion to review our anti-corruption efforts and also collectively chart a way forward. I have no doubt that contributions here will lead to more effective and inclusive multi-stakeholder cooperation and actions on anti-corruption. As I conclude, may I urge us all to sustain our resolve and work with determination in our effort to institutionalize good governance for the benefit of our great nation. Thank you all, and I wish us fruitful deliberations.
Reciting the anti-corruption anthem at the EFCC headquarters crowned the celebration for the students of the 2 winning schools.
Nigeria is mine. I will do my best to ensure the Nigeria of my dreams, where corruption is prevented with vigor and sanctions are enforced with rigor, where citizens are engaged with might to seek ways of beaming light. Proceeds of crime are recovered for my future, and ethical conduct I will uphold and nurture. Say no to corruption.
Gondu Ngweta for the Eagle.
Thank you for staying with us on this edition of The Eagle. The Eagle will be here again, same time, same station, next week. Send us your email on theeagle@efccnigeria.org. The Eagle at efccnigeria.org. On all our social media platforms, it's @official EFCC. @official EFCC. And if you have petitions, please send them to info@efccnigeria.org, or a personal visit can do. Just visit any of our offices in the 14 zones across the country or the corporate headquarters in Jabi, Abuja. I remain yours sincerely, Martha Eche. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.